On the night of September 18, 2024, Russia was rocked by an event that would forever alter the course of its ongoing war in Ukraine. A sudden, unanticipated explosion shattered the stillness of the early morning, followed by a 5-square-kilometer inferno and a 3.2 magnitude earthquake that sent tremors through the surrounding areas. Russian citizens, barely aware of the enormity unfolding, woke to what appeared to be an apocalyptic disaster. Little did they know, the heart of the explosion was Toropets, home to one of Russia's largest ammunition depots. Toropets, a town with a population of just around 13,000 and situated over 230 kilometers northwest of Moscow, seemed like an unlikely target. Its remote location, far from the front lines of the war, had made it the perfect spot for housing such a critical military asset. But that night, this small, quiet town became the epicenter of a devastating attack that would send shockwaves through Russia's military infrastructure and war efforts. The Toropets ammunition depot wasn't just any storage facility, it was a vital component of Russia's military strategy, particularly for its western military district. This district, which oversees the Russian forces involved in Ukraine, is one of the most strategically important regions in the country. The depot in Toropets stored vast quantities of ammunition, ready to be distributed to troops engaged in the ongoing conflict with Ukraine. These supplies were crucial for maintaining the momentum of Russia's operations, especially as they fought on multiple fronts in the war. In the early hours of that fateful morning, Ukrainian drone operators, stationed in command bunkers deep in northern Ukraine, initiated an audacious mission. The growing sophistication of Ukraine's drone capabilities had become one of the most significant challenges for Russia since the war began. These operators had become experts in launching their payloads with precision, often using the cover of night to avoid detection. Their goal that night was clear: hit the Toropets depot. As the drones were carefully prepped and ready for launch, Ukrainian intelligence reports confirmed that the weather conditions were perfect. Calm skies and clear visibility meant that their chances of success were higher than ever. The only obstacle: Russia's formidable air defenses along the border. But the Ukrainian drone operators had a solution: fly under the radar. Operating at low altitudes, the drones stealthily made their way through the Russian air defense networks. The operators were well aware that the closer they got to their target, the more vulnerable they became, but the risk was worth it. By the time they neared Toropets, the town's lights illuminated the landscape beneath them, a beacon guiding the drones toward their target. Russian forces stationed at the Toropets depot were ill-prepared for the attack. Many of the soldiers on duty that night were conscripts, poorly trained and even more poorly equipped to defend against a sophisticated aerial assault. These conscripts, under the leadership of seasoned but overworked commanders, had limited experience in dealing with such threats. With fewer professional soldiers available due to the ongoing conflict, the military had to rely on a system that was rapidly showing cracks. By 3:46 a.m., the first drone struck the depot. In an instant, chaos ensued. Within moments, dozens of drones slammed into the complex, unleashing a barrage of secondary explosions that turned the depot into an inferno. What followed was nothing short of catastrophic. A 5-square-kilometer area of the depot erupted in massive fireballs, lighting up the night sky. Russian police and military units scrambled to evacuate nearby residents, closing schools and train stations as a firestorm raged around them. The images of fleeing citizens and the inferno that consumed Toropets were eerily reminiscent of the evacuation scenes during the Chernobyl disaster decades earlier. In the aftermath, Russian state media tried to downplay the attack, claiming that their air defense systems had shot down numerous drones and that the resulting debris had caused the fire. However, independent sources, including meteorological data from stations as far away as Norway, painted a different picture. The data confirmed seismic anomalies consistent with an explosion, indicating that the blast came from the inside rather than being caused by debris from downed drones. The explosions were so intense that they left a massive crater, more than 90 feet deep, at the heart of the depot. This devastating attack, executed by Ukrainian drone units, raised questions. How had Ukraine pulled off such a precise strike, especially on such a heavily protected target deep within Russia? The answer lies in Ukraine's growing domestic arms industry, which has increasingly focused on developing long-range drones capable of delivering destructive payloads over vast distances. Since the onset of the war, Ukraine has invested heavily in drone technology, and by 2024, the country had made significant strides in developing these long-range capabilities. The drones used in the Toropets attack were likely not the standard first-person view, FPV, drones typically associated with smaller, tactical strikes. The sheer scale and impact of the attack suggested the involvement of more advanced, long-range drones. Among the most likely candidates was the UJ-26 Beaver, a drone with a nearly 1,000-kilometer range and a 20-kilogram warhead. The Beaver, already in mass production, has been used in several high-profile attacks on Russian targets, including strikes on Moscow. Another possible candidate was the Lord, a biplane-style drone with a massive warhead designed to target hardened structures. It has a range of around 750 kilometers, making it capable of reaching Toropets from Ukrainian territory. Yet another possibility was the Sky Ranger Ninja, a newer version of the A-22 Foxbat, which has been used to devastating effect in previous strikes. Equipped with enhanced cameras for night vision and a payload capable of igniting massive fires, the Sky Ranger would have been perfectly suited to cause the type of destruction seen at Toropets. This drone's ability to operate in GPS-denied environments made it even more effective in a region with complex electronic warfare conditions. Although the exact model of drone used in the attack remains unclear, the results were undeniable. The scale of the destruction was unprecedented, with fireballs reaching skyward and the depot itself reduced to a smoldering ruin. The Ukrainian military's strategic use of drones had made its mark, and Russia now had to contend with the fallout from this unprecedented strike. The Toropets attack was more than just a blow to Russian military infrastructure. It was a game-changer in the broader context of the war. Russia's ability to maintain its supply lines to Ukraine was already fragile, and this attack highlighted the vulnerability of its most critical assets. The loss of the Toropets depot was a significant blow to Russia's logistical capabilities, impacting its ability to continue the war at the same scale. Furthermore, it demonstrated to the world that Ukraine was capable of striking deep within Russian territory with precision and devastating force. For Russia, the attack was a stark reminder of the changing dynamics of modern warfare, where asymmetrical tactics, like drone strikes, can have an outsized impact. As Ukraine continues to refine its drone capabilities and expand its arms industry, Russia's reliance on outdated and overstretched defenses will only become more apparent. The war in Ukraine, which many thought would be determined by traditional military might, is increasingly shaped by technological innovation and strategic ingenuity. The question now is not just how Russia will recover from the loss of Toropets, but how it will respond to the growing threat posed by Ukraine's evolving military tactics. In the end, the Toropets attack marked a turning point in the conflict, one that signaled a shift in power dynamics and introduced a new chapter in the ongoing war. The devastating impact of this strike on Russia's military infrastructure is a reminder that in modern warfare, no target is ever truly safe, and the battlefield is increasingly defined by technology, innovation, and the ability to adapt quickly to new threats.